Dear friends, this is episode number 25. We have dealt with up to Rule 73 of Order 21. Now, next is 74 onwards, sale of immovable property. Sale of movable property up to Rule 81. I am not dealing with those rules in this class, since it is sufficient if you read it. No explanation is required. It can be read and understood. Now we go to the sale of immovable property. That starts from Order 21, Rule 82. Before going to Order 21, Rule 82, we have to bear in mind one important aspect. That is, when a court auction takes place, say for example the proclamation is settled, sale takes place, then an application may be there to set aside the sale under Order 21 Rule 90, which may take 6 months, 1 year, like that, to dispose of. There may be appeal therefrom, and after all those procedures are taken, at least in some cases, then the question of confirmation of sale comes under Rule 92. Then issue of sale certificate. So from the date of actual sale, in certain cases it may be so that the sale certificate may be issued after 1 year. Confirmation of sale may take place after 1 year. So what is the date on which the sale comes into effect? Is it the date of sale, or the date of confirmation, or the date on which the sale certificate is issued, or the date on which the delivery of the property takes place? Section 65 is the answer to that. Section 65 says, where immovable property is sold in execution of a decree and such sale has become absolute, the property shall be deemed to have vested in the purchaser from the time when the property is sold, and not from the time when the sale becomes absolute. So it may take some time to get the sale absolute. Meanwhile, several proceedings may be initiated to set aside the sale, appeals, and all those things may be there. Time will elapse. And ultimately, it is confirmed. Then the question is, from what date the purchaser gets title to the property? Section 65 says, the time when the property is sold, and not from the time when the sale becomes absolute. So that position is very clear. Now we go to Rule 82 onwards. Rule 82, sale of immovable property in execution of decree may be ordered by any court other than a court exercising small cause jurisdiction. Rule 83, postponement of sale to enable judgment debtor to raise the amount of decree. This is a special procedure which can be made use of by the judgment debtors if they genuinely want the property attached or the property brought to sale to be dealt with other than by court auction sale. It is common knowledge that court auction sale may not fetch a proper price, or court auction sale does not fetch the market value of the property. There are so many reasons for it. We are not on the reason. See, take a case where the judgment debtor has a liability of rupees 5 lakhs. He has properties. One item of property was proclaimed for sale. All the procedural formalities have been complied with. Then a purchaser comes for purchasing that property. The judgment debtor may not be in a position to sell it because there is attachment. And then the sale deed will be void. The purchaser, the third party purchaser may not be interested in purchasing a property when it is under attachment. Normally, he will doubt. He will have his own doubt. Then the judgment debtor wants to pay the money to the decree holder. He wants some time. He wants to sell this property, otherwise than by court sale. To private persons, he seeks permission to sell, but the attachment is there. Therefore, there is a bar. It will be communicated to the registrar's office. The registrar will not register it. Then the difficulty arises. There is a method even to salvage the property and for postponement of sale. That is Rule 83. Rule 83, there are so many conditions. It is not a free order which anybody can get. The court must be satisfied that this request made by the judgment debtor to sell the property privately is genuine, for which certain safeguards are required. Let us see Rule 83. Where an order for sale of immovable property has been made, if the judgment debtor can satisfy the court that there is reason to believe that the amount of the decree may be raised by the mortgage or lease or private sale of such property, or some part thereof, or of any other immovable property of the judgment debtor, the court may, on his application, postpone the sale of the property comprised in the order for sale on such terms and for such period as it thinks proper, to enable him to raise the amount. Yes, the court must be satisfied. That satisfaction must be borne out by an order. Court must say in an order which may be passed under Rule 83 the reason why it is granting that, in which the satisfaction must be recorded. What is satisfied? That there is reason to believe that the amount of the decree may be raised by mortgage or lease or private sale of such property. Which property? An order for sale of immovable property has been made in respect of that property. That property which is sought to be sold, proclaimed for sale, ordered for sale, or some part thereof, or any other immovable property of the judgment debtor. See, sale is fixed to be held, order for sale is made, then it may take place after the procedural formalities are complied with. That is one item of property. He has another item of property. There is a purchaser for that item. It may take about 3 months to 6 months to sell that property so that he can salvage the property which is attached, the property which is brought to sale. Say for example, it is a residential property of the judgment debtor and his family. That property was attached for the decree amount, and that is being brought to sale, ordered for sale. Sale is ordered. He has got another property. Judgment debtor has got another property. He does not mind losing that property for salvaging this residential property. Purchasers are there. he believes that he can raise funds to pay off the decree amount and costs and all the necessary things. He applies to the court. I intend to sell two things. One, the property which is brought to sale, order to be sold. There is a purchaser. He offers this much price. Some time is required. 3 months time is required to execute the document and to register it. Necessary permission may be granted. This is bona fide. And the court must be satisfied that this request is bona fide. It may pass an order under Rule 83. Let us see what is the nature of the order. Or the judgmentor may say, my residential property is attached. I want to salvage that property. I have another property. There is an offer for that item of property for this much price. I may be permitted to sell that item. There, the permission of the court is not required for selling that item because it is not an attached item. But at the same time, court has to pass an order to postpone the sale. Otherwise, by the time the other property is sold to a stranger, by the time the sale of the residential property may take place, then the judgmentor may lose both the properties. So, to enable the judgmentor to sell the other item other than the property which is brought to sale, the court may grant permission. Then what happens? For such period as it thinks fit. Then for not only sale, mortgage or lease, all these things are possible. To raise funds. In such case, the court shall grant a certificate to the judgmentor, authorizing him within a period to be mentioned therein, and notwithstanding anything contained in section 64, to make the proposed mortgage, lease or sale. Court will grant a certificate. If the court allows that request, court will grant a certificate, you may sell, mortgage or lease. And notwithstanding certificate to the judgment, authorizing him within a period to be mentioned therein, and notwithstanding anything contained in section 64, to make the proposed mortgage, lease or sale. Because section 64 prohibits any private alienation or creating a charge or encumbrance in the property, that will be void. So notwithstanding that, the court may grant permission. The attachment will not be lifted. Permission will be granted, subject notwithstanding such an attachment, so that if such an order is passed, the property can be mortgaged, leased or sold as permitted by the court. Then, provided that all monies payable under such mortgage, lease or sale shall be paid not to the judgmentor but to court. The amount which is fetched by such sale. Who sells? The judgmentor sells to a third party, let us take it. And then the money has to come to the judgmentor. He cannot receive it. That amount should go to the court. Court will pass up money to us. Set off is possible. Even the judgmentor may sell it to the decree holder, negotiate and sell it, so that he can avoid a court sale in which the proper price may not be fetched. He has no control. Judgmentor has no control over it, court sale. Whereas he may sell it to the decree holder himself. Then the decree holder need not deposit the amount, the full amount in court. He can adjust, set off. All those things are possible. Provided that no mortgage, lease or sale under this rule shall become absolute until it has been confirmed by the court. So nothing, the mortgage, lease or sale shall be confirmed by the court. Court has to pass final order. Nothing in this rule shall be deemed to apply to sale of property directed to be sold in execution of a decree for sale in enforcement of a mortgage or charge on such property. This provision will not apply to such decrees. Now, this is a provision which can be used and which can be misused. It depends on the parties, how it can be used. if there is a genuine request, a genuine desire on the part of the judgment debtor to salvage his property, to have a sale other than a court sale. He may find out purchase, he has already found out purchases, or he is going to find out purchases, and then sell it for a proper price and deposit that amount in court, and so that get rid of the liability, salvage the property. It can be misused, that this can be misused also to protract the proceedings. Don't do that. And if after having a discussion with the judgment debtor when the property is going to be sold, the lawyer appearing for the judgment debtor must have a discussion, should have a discussion with the client. How are you going to raise money? What are the prospects? What property you have got other than the attached property? Why can't you sell that? Why can't you find out purchasers? Is there a real intending purchaser for that property? How much it will fetch? Collect all the necessary details and advise the party accordingly. The parties may not know that Rule 83 is there in Order 21 to have a private alienation, so that the court sale will not take place, or it will be postponed for a time and a certificate will be granted. All these things the parties do not know. It is for the lawyers to advise the parties accordingly, for which, dear friends, I am saying a discussion with the client is required. So whenever, make it a point that this is my advice to young lawyers, whenever a sale of the property, when a property is proclaimed for sale, have a discussion with your client, namely the judgment debtor, as to various aspects, all the aspects, so that find out whether you can salvage his desired property, that is the property desired to be salvaged by him, or ensure that if the court auction sale is certain, ensure that all the necessary precautions are taken, so that to the extent possible the judgment debtor gets a proper price in the court auction sale. Now 84, Rule 84. I spent some time on Rule 83 because that is an area where it is not fully explored, and that is an area where it can be explored. Rule 84. Deposit by purchaser and resale on default. Purchaser shall deposit immediately after the declaration of sale that deposit 25%. Then to the officer or other person conducting the sale. And what will happen in default of such a deposit? The property shall forthwith be resold. Then no adjournment is required. See, a person purchased the property for a price in public auction. He has to deposit 25% of the bid amount. He fails to deposit. Property can be sold. Where the decree holder is the purchaser and is entitled to set off the purchase money under Rule 72, the court may dispense with the requirements of this rule. Decree holder himself can purchase, and under Rule 72 he gets permission. Court also grants permission to set off. He may do so. He need not deposit. So that he has to realize a sum of rupees 10 lakhs, decree. An item of property is going to be sold. It was sold for 7 lakhs. It was purchased by the decree holder himself. What is the amount he has to deposit? 7 lakhs. Decree holder was permitted to set off, that is adjust this amount with the decree amount. So still, even after this, he has to deposit the balance amount of 3 lakhs, which he may appropriately recover and do whatever he wants. But the question is whether he has to deposit that 7 lakhs. He need not. Even after deposit, what will happen? See the procedure. What is this? There is a decree holder who has to get money. there is a judgment debtor who is liable to pay money. An item of property belonging to the judgment debtor is going to be sold in court auction. It is sold in court auction. It is purchased by a third party. What he has to do? He has to deposit the value of the property in court, 25% then itself, and the balance and the necessary charges for the stamp paper, he has to deposit within 15 days. That is a procedure. That amount will be deposited in court. It will go to whom? It will go to the decree holder to the extent of the decree. If there is balance, that will be returned to the judgment debtor. That is a procedure. So if the decree holder is entitled to set off and he has got permission under Rule 72, he need not deposit that amount. If there is excess, even after covering his decree, say for example decree amount is 10 lakhs, the bid amount is 12 lakhs, after set off he has to deposit the balance amount of rupees 2 lakhs within the time permitted by these provisions. Now, Rule 85. Time for payment in full of the purchase money. The full amount of purchase money payable together with the amount required for the general stamp paper for the certificate under Rule 94 shall be paid by the purchaser into court before the court closes on the 15th day from the date of sale of the property. So when an auction purchaser, court auction purchaser, what is the document he will get? Certificate of sale. That must be engrossed on stamp paper. It is just like a document, a sale deed. A sale deed, you have to purchase a property, the sale deed must be engrossed on necessary stamp paper, non-judicial stamp paper. That is, it will be purchased. It can be purchased from the stamp vendor, and that required, there is a rate for it, that must be there. So this sale certificate also, the necessary charges are there, stamp paper, general stamp paper is there. That must be, that value also must be deposited within, at least on the 15th day from the date of sale of the property. Provided that in respect to the purchase money, the purchaser shall have the advantage of any set off to which he may be entitled under Rule 72, which we have already dealt with. Same thing. Now, 86. Procedure in default. In default of payment within the time mentioned in the last preceding rule, the deposit may, if the court thinks fit, after defraying the expenses of sale, be forfeited to the government. And the property shall be resold, and the defaulting purchaser shall forfeit all claim to the property or to any part of the sum for which it may be sold subsequently sold. The defaulter will lose. He cannot have an court auction sale and fail to deposit the amount within time. It can be even forfeited. The amount which he deposited, suppose he has deposited 25% and failed to pay the balance amount, that amount can be forfeited after defraying the expenses, forfeited to the government. And the defaulting purchaser shall forfeit all the claim to the property. Notification on resale. Every resale of property, of immovable property, in default of payment of the amounts mentioned in Rule 85 within the period allowed for such payment shall be made after issue of such fresh proclamation in the manner and for the period herein before prescribed for sale. So when a property is to be resold on the failure to deposit the amount, the necessary proclamation must be there, a fresh proclamation. Bid of co-sharer to have preference. Rule 88. Where property sold is a share of undivided immovable property and two or more persons of whom one is a co-sharer respectively bid the same for such property or for any lot, the bid shall be deemed to be the bid of the co-sharer. I will give an example. A particular item of property belongs to A and B jointly together. They are the co-owners, A and B. A is indebted to C. C files a suit against A. B is not a necessary party. And C's suit against A is decreed. He wants to proceed against this property. out of which A has only one half right. E is only a co-owner. So what is a property that can be brought to sale? Only the right of the judgmentator in the property. What is the right of the judgmentator? One half right. Proclaim that one half right for sale. And when either the decree holder or third parties purchase at the auction, and two persons, that is the one, the stranger auction purchaser or decree holder auction purchaser, and the other co-owner bids for the same amount, then the court will consider the bid of the co-owner as the last bid, correct bid. Same amount is offered by the co-sharer who is has a fractional right along with the judgmentator. His right will be accepted. That is to protect the co-owners. But there is a belief, at least some of the litigants and some of the ordinary villagers, that if there is a co-ownership property, it cannot be brought to court auction sale. I have seen several persons say that it belongs to not only the judgmentator but to others, his brothers and sisters also. So it is not available for sale. He has no individual property. What of it? Nothing wrong. If the judgmentator has 1/10 right in the particular item of property, that 1/10 right can be sold. It is not 1/10 extent that is to be sold. 1/10 right. Then the auction purchaser will not directly get, he will get only a symbolical delivery. He has to file a suit for partition and get possession. So even fractional interest can be sold, but it is not the extent. Suppose 10 persons have equal rights in respect of 1 acre of property, of whom one is a judgmentator. Judgmentator cannot say that I have got 10 cents out of 1 acre, my share comes to 10 cents, I sell this land. Or that alone, that 10 cents alone can be sold. It is not sale of 10 cents that takes place. It is the sale of 1/10 right of the judgmentator. So in the proclamation, it is the whole property having an extent of 1 acre will be shown, and it will be stated in the proclamation that the judgmentator's 1/10 right in the property will be sold. That is the manner in which it is done. So the belief of the villagers and the belief of the ordinary litigants that when there is a ownership property, that property cannot be sold in court auction and the decree amount realized is not correct. Then next is Rule 89 onwards. Rule 89, application to set aside the sale on deposit, which I referred to in the previous episode just for the reference sake, not dealt with. And then Rule 90, application to set aside on the ground of material irregularity or fraud in publishing and conducting it. And then Rule 91, application by the purchaser to set aside the sale. These are the 3 types of applications which can be made to set aside the sale. That the period is 60 days, period of limitation from the date of sale. Within that, the application has to be made. Now, what will happen if the application is not made within 60 days? It is made on the 61st day. It is barred by time. Can the court condone it? No, the court has no power to condone it. Why? Because Section 5 of the Limitation Act applies only to suits. Section 5 of the Limitation Act applies to only appeals and applications other than an application under Order 21 of the Code of Civil Procedure. This comes under Order 21. So Section 5 of the Limitation Act, which provides for extension of the period of limitation, does not apply to suits, does not apply to application under Order 21 of the Code of Civil Procedure. We will deal with Rule 89 and in the next episode, Rule 89, 90 and 91 in the next episode. Thank you.